Hey, good morning, everybody. I thought today we would do a little walk and chat. I know that everybody likes to watch what we've planted. We have done a lot of planting over the last couple of weeks. We've got a lot of projects done. So this is halfway some of the planting and halfway some of the projects, and just letting you know why we've made some of the decisions on the farm. Let's get after it. See you, buddy. So one of the projects that we started last fall was starting this little plot of wildflowers at the farthest side of the farm before we've developed the rest. And this has really come out nice. Everything is popping. We've got California poppies, we've got Icelandic poppies, we've got a bunch of bachelor buttons, and a few other things just now coming up. But it's a lot of fun to sit out here in the morning and have coffee. And just wanted to show you that we have started building out a lot of pollinator stuff. My goal for this year is to really just get the soil started. This is year one. There's a lot to do. The soil was bare. It was very neutral. So we're building up the content of the soil. We're building up the nutrients. We're building up the root structures. But I'm also wanting the butterflies and the monarchs and the hummingbirds and everybody to know that, hey, this is a place that you're safe. We're not going to spray out here, and that we're eventually going to be putting in a bunch of bird habitats as well. So this is kind of the first start of that. It's very pretty, and it's got a lot of benefits other than just the beauty of it. It's going to attract pollinators that's going to help us out with the rest of the garden. So the 30-footer is basically ready to cover. We're going to do that week after this, and then we've been building up basically this herb bed, and everything in here is going to be edible down to the edible flowers that we have in here. Let me show you some of those varieties. So I do have a space that I'm still filling out. This is going to be some stuff that we're starting from seed, but all of the rest of this stuff, a lot of it I got from Bob Wells Nursery, our friends down in Mineola, Texas. So starting south to north, I got a little bit taller Angiolina that's going to come up and shade some of the things that I'm going to put in here that likes a little bit of partial shade. I have some Mexican mint, very pungent. It's got some edible flowers on there. We're going to go through along the front with some thyme, Texas sage, Russian sage, and then we're going to go into just a general traditional herbs of basil, oregano, a little bit of lavender, sage, dill with a couple of little extra onions that we had, and then onto the strawberries. So behind me, it's still very open, still very much under construction. As you can see, we're starting to play around with the layout of the deep water culture, and the Dutch buckets are going to go on this side. I'm going to be working on that in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. And so I'm going to try something that's probably not going to work, but I really want to see if it does, in that we've started with plants that need a lot of moisture, even some aquatic stuff that's going to be coming around this very unfinished water feature. We've got some papyrus. We've got mosquito plants to kind of help keep that down. We have another pump coming that's basically going to help churn that water up, so no mosquitoes or anything like to settle. And I'm standing on a bunch, I think I've got about 24 taro plants under here. It's kind of an homage to our friends at Kupu Place, and we're going to try to grow taro right here in Texas. And I'll be calling him for a lot of advice along the way. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, those will be coming up. Got a little bit of rosemary in the corner. Check out this eucalyptus. We're going to be growing this out on a trellis. It's very nice. Probably saying this wrong, but Gatu cola is a creeping herb that's reminiscent of parsley, so we're going to try that. So basically we're coming down in stages from the taro down to here. I'm only going to irrigate this side kind of on misters and foggers, and as that drifts, we're going to get into basically a different zone of succulents. We've got ice plant, we have hens and chicks, we have other creeping succulents that I hope to kind of come over the rock. The ice plant is edible. The aloe vera, of course, is going to help us with all the cuts we have been getting here lately. And then just around the fountain, we have coleus, geraniums, dahlias, and that's going to come around to the other side. This is where things are starting to get a little bit more exotic. We have some joey paws, which is not edible, but it's a very fun plant. It's very pretty. We have more papyrus in the back, and then we have this stand of ginger that we actually started back in January. I then have a dragon fruit that we plan to trellis up. I've got 2 wasabis. I've got 2 bay leaf trees. I've got 2 lemon eucalyptus with more eucalyptus, and then a papaya tree. So the whole point of this side of the hoop house was the beginning of our permaculture experiment, in which I really want some of this to grow up, shade some of the stuff that's going to be under here. I want it edible, I want it medicinal, I want it to have a use and a function here on the farm other than just to look pretty. So while the flowers may not serve some of that purpose, they are going to help bring in some of the pollinators, and I'm really hoping to bring in some butterflies here later on. Again, this is meant to be a very inspirational hoop house and very experimental and a lot of fun. So if we go just past that area where the plastic is going to end, we've got these rock beds. I've got lemongrass buffers just to kind of help as a windbreak. Those will get about 36 inches tall. And then on either side, I've got elderberry, and then along the back and in the corners, I've tucked in some seeded wildflowers that we're going to have come up and just kind of, again, bring in some of those pollinators. And then we have a couple of artichokes along the way. So the next thing that we kind of did this week was we irrigated this bed. I chocked it full of wildflowers a couple of weeks ago. I got nasturtiums from seed that I'm hoping to come up and bring over. And then to kind of help get things started, we've got some mandevilla. Again, the nasturtiums are edible, the mandevilla is not. Either way, we've got flowers, we've got pollinators. And then all this, I think I've got about 20 varieties that I almost promise you I overseeded. So there's a couple of things I really wanted to contain. That's going to be our pumpkins, our watermelon, and our mint. I am going to go through a lot of mint this year. It's mojito season, it's margarita season. And so I wanted a watermelon mint bed. And we had some 100-gallon grow bags that I thought would look very nice on either side. We've got it on the landscape fabric. So as the watermelons come up, and hopefully we keep the raccoons out of there, we'll have little sprigs of mint come up, and we can trellis in the rock and on the landscape fabric and kind of take care of the fruit. Now, if we come over here, this thing looks a little rough. I know we all like to use recycled materials here on the farm. And basically this is an old raised bed that we're going to be growing 2 or 3 different kinds of pumpkins and gourds on. I have a bunch of smaller varieties that we're gonna finish up this trellis, and we're going to trellis up the smaller varieties. And then for our bigger pumpkins, we're going to put in the front and kind of trellis over and mix them in here. So this should be a lot of vines, and I'm expecting to see a lot of snakes. If you're new to the channel, I had a landscape company and a nursery for about 25 years here in Paris. I can't help myself but to plant a lot of bedding flowers. There's 2 kind of things I was thinking about in this. One, I really wanted this to be an edible landscape, but folks, I went haywire this year, and I've been buying flowers until my boss calls me and the accounting department calls me and says, hey, quit buying flowers. So we're putting in some paper flowers. We're putting in all kinds of pollinator stuff that's meant to attract butterflies specifically. But then in the back, we also have coleus. We have 2 grapevines going up. I did lose one in the frost. And then we've got several fig trees all along pocketed in. Right now, this year, I have a bunch of flowers that are meant for the sun. Next year, that's going to change a little bit. As we prune back and change the shape of these figs over time, I do want them to grow up. I do want them to be a wind block from the north side. But that's gonna change this landscape, and I know that going in. So we put in drip irrigation with foggers for this year. I'm fully expecting that to change as the ecosystem and the shade situation changes over the course of the years. So we have this nice path going in. I'm not going to name every flower. All of these are basically either ornamental, or we have the vining fruits or the figs. So this is a ornamental peach tree. We do have some strawberries, and I do have a couple of pockets on either side of the arbor. And one thing that is not coming up that I'm very excited about is we have a bunch of seeds on either side for the birdhouse gourds, in which I want to hopefully grow out over the course of the fall, so we can put a bunch of gourd birdhouses out all around the property to continue that kind of wildlife habitat that we're hoping to bring. And again, it's real important for me that as kind of a showpiece farm, we still want to be good neighbors. So we have some ferns and we have some just summer annuals in these hanging baskets. I did go through last week. I need to finish this side, but we have a bunch of drip irrigation. Everything's on a fogger, which also kind of helps rain down on either side of the beds and kind of takes care of those gourds that we're talking about. And then this is just a continuation of that other side. Again, we've got a couple of different figs. You'll see little tufts of ornamental grass just as a windbreak and kind of soften the edges. So on either side of the raised bed, we still have our garlics and onions that we planted in the fall. Over here, we have our spring onions. Now, one thing that I'm very excited about as we go into the hoop house is yesterday we went to Bob Wells Nursery and picked up 16 Roselles. Basically, they're a type of hibiscus that once the flower pops, we have these little edible pods that we can make teas and simple syrups and things like that out of. I'm going to line both of that. We're gonna have a whole separate video on that. It's one of the things I've been most excited about. So we have really finished up the herb garden here. Rosemary, some mint, I've got some tarragon seeded out. Then we have some more thyme, parsley, lavender, a bunch of oregano on this ring. And I did have some more flowers over here, some taurina, some salvia, some marjoram, and then we hit down our basils and some sage and marigolds. Again, marigolds kind of help disrupt a lot of the pests that come in. In these two corners, I started, they're not coming up yet, but I have red noodle beans coming up and they'll kind of bush out over that trellis. It's a big attractor of aphids, and if I do have to spray BT or neem or anything like that, I'm gonna hose down those plants. We're not going to eat the red noodle beans, but we're hoping just to kind of have those aphids kind of swarm that area when eventually they do come through, keep them off of these crops and hit them with that. Let's get to the peppers. So these are our smaller, hotter peppers. We've got cayenne, we've got serranos over here, and then we have our Anaheims, our poblanos, and then our tam jalapenos. If you remember in a recent video, we were talking about this Swiss chard. Folks, it's not doing well. I mean, it looks rough. So we're gonna be pulling that out pretty quick and swapping that out for another summer crop. The herbs are coming in very nice. We've been harvesting that. We've got that on drip. And then if you look here, we've got the beginnings of seeded Malamar spinach that's going to come up and basically turn this into a shade to supplement that. Come look at how pretty this is. We've got some passion vine that's gonna help kind of keep this privacy fence a little bit more intact and kind of have two different varieties in there. Everything's been on drip on those two zones we talked about in a couple of videos ago. That's been very nice. It's drastically reduced the labor, and we're still heavily drip irrigating a lot of things. So on these two beds, the potatoes are coming up very nice. It's actually time to hill those, and I plan to do that either today or tomorrow. One thing I want to point out is I have all this lemongrass, and lemongrass is going to get about 36 to 40 inches tall and a couple of foot wide, and it's very dense. So as we have all this southern prevailing wind, I'm trying to keep this from getting so beat up and windblown, and I'm planting 2 of these lemongrasses on the end of every row just to kind of help protect some of these crops, and it's also edible. We're now at our squash and zucchini bed. A little bit goes a very long way. And then I've got this thermometer here, and I kind of check it daily because I'm waiting for some of these crops that we're going to direct seed to get to a morning temperature of about 70 degrees. So I just kind of leave this here. It's in a good area that gets even moisture, so I can tell, hey, we're at 60 degrees today. It's been cold here the last few days, and I'm just waiting for some of that to pop. And the first thing that's going to happen is this 2 rows, I'm gonna put about 8 to 10 okra plants. The irrigation's already set, and we're waiting to get that done. One of the things that is also gonna happen when that soil temperature gets up, and I'm probably a little behind, but I'm gonna be a little bit more conservative this year, is I really have always wanted to do a 3 sisters garden. This is not enough room for a good stand of corn, but it is going to be the winter squash that we're going to do and some of the pole beans that we're going to do. And if you don't know what a 3 sisters garden is, I'm gonna do a whole video on that at the end of the year as we kind of walk up that process. But it's basically corn, beans, squash, all grown in its own little ecosystem. It's kind of a southwest flare, and that's gonna be very nice, and it's gonna take up this big block. Again, I'm really not expecting to get much corn out of here. It's not enough corn to properly pollinate. But again, it's just a fun experiment, and that's what we're going to be doing here on the farm. I've got multiple varieties of flowers on this side, again, to bring in the pollinators, and I have a row of cosmos that's just barely coming up at the end of this new hoop house that you'll see next week as we introduce this new 10-footer. But I'll show you real quick what we planted inside. I'm not gonna go over it because we cover that pretty extensively in that video. Come on. So as you watch that video, you'll notice that when we first planted these tomatoes, they were down here. So in a week, they've already come up about 6 inches, and I should be able to move up the first clip of the cliplar on this vine. On this side, we have Little Fingers eggplant, and on this side, Sun Gold tomatoes. We have drip irrigation, and we had this nice little pocket in between where we put the landscape fabric and the baseboards. And I wanted to do something there, but I didn't want to irrigate it. I didn't want to water it. So we put alternating colors of moss rose all the way around. It does great when it's dry, and will also attract some pollinators to some of these. Even though these are F1 varieties, I still like the idea of pollinators getting in here and shaking things about. Again, I like to have a little fun around the farm. So this is the hobby house that we did last fall. I have alternating green and red bell peppers all the way around. I do plan to thin those out. We planted those pretty tight, and we do plan to run a little trellis. I'm waiting on some new products to come in before we do that. But this will be our bell pepper house. So on the outside, we have some red salvia, some purple salvia as we come up, and then a ring of marigolds. Again, all to help bring in those pollinators. let's take a look at our very, very messy, still under very much construction with multiple projects going on, new propagation house. So we shut off the lights so you wouldn't have to listen to the fans on the video, but the circulation fans are in, exhaust fans are in, all the plugs are good to go. We are in the middle of building these flood and drain propagation tables that, again, waiting on parts to come in. So, but this is kind of our overflow area, and I wanted to show you those Roselles that I mentioned earlier. These are gonna get about 4 foot tall and 4 foot around, and so it's gonna be a very fun project to do over the course of the year. And again, that's gonna be right at that entrance. So this is just some of our leftover plants and some of the mint that we're waiting on to put in some of those contained beds. We have a couple of Vardens that we're putting up next week, and then this is the ongoing, never-ending drip irrigation station in which I'm kind of bringing everything in and out. We've washed a bunch of trays last week from all of our seed starts, and yeah, just everything's under construction. So yeah, this was a little bit longer video, but again, we had a lot of stuff to go over. I wish the sun was out to kind of pop all the colors a little bit better, but it's been raining a lot around here, and we've been having to contend with that. As you can see, a lot of stuff done, a lot of stuff on the way. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this year, and I hope you enjoy watching the farm kind of develop on its own. I hope you're looking forward to some of the experiments like we are. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for those comments. Again, we are doing a lot of work here for your benefit, and we don't know what to do on some of these things until we hear from you and what you would like to see us do, or to have some comments on things that you've maybe done that we're doing now, and we're open to suggestions if you have any tips for us. So any question that moves the conversation forward, we're going to answer and be a part of that. Thanks for being a part of our community, and we'll see you in the next one.